Quick message, guys, before this video starts. If this video gets 10 likes, that's it, just 10 likes, we will go live Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern for an hour right before this kickoff goes live. We can talk about our favorite picks. We can talk about our favorite captains. Let's do that. Let's just get this video 10 likes. Enjoy the video. What's going on, guys? Cody Marchand from HydeAndZeke.com, and we're about to dive into the Showdown Slate for this Thursday's matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. Week 2 on Draftkings. We are in this... Beep. Just kidding. Cut that out, Cody. We are diving into this slate right away, but before we do, all I want to ask is that you like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're putting out pretty much daily content on the YouTube, and I want to hook it up, and all I want is to subscribe. Tell your friends. Watch it yourself. Come join the live streams on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's dive right into this Showdown Slate. Number 1, let's go over what we want to do on a Showdown Slate. On a Showdown Slate, it is important to, 1, make sure you understand what the game flow is going to be. Obviously, you can't predict it, but you want to have a projection. You yourself, whatever you believe, a.k.a. Scenario A. The Buccaneers are going to come out and beat the Panthers by 30. They're going to be up the whole game. In the second half, they're going to take their foot off the gas. They're going to run the ball. That also means that the Carolina Panthers will be trailing. They'll abandon the run. They'll be running more plays. Cam will be dropping back more, so Tampa Bay defense will be rushing the passer more, knowing that he's going to be throwing the ball. Christian McCaffrey will be getting more pass opportunities as opposed to running plays. That is what I'm talking about. We need to have a projection of how the game's going to go. Obviously, that's just a random scenario. That's not what I actually think is going to happen. I'm just saying you have to have a hypothesis on the game going into this, or else you'll be not very successful. Number 2, you have to be different. You can't just play the chalk. This is a tournament. This is one of the only videos I make every single week where it's GPP exclusive. We're not going to be playing chalk everywhere. We're going to be getting different, whether that means leaving some salary on the table, whether that means not having CMC. Spoiler, you better have CMC in your lineup this week. He is my highest ranked player of the entire week, not just in this game. I think that if it's raw projections, CMC has the highest raw total for week 1. We're not going to get into CMC right now. We're just talking about our game plan, aka number 1, we want to have a projection on how the game flow is going to go. Number 2, we got to get different. Number 3, stack. We want correlation. Highest correlation that you can have is a quarterback, wide receiver, running back, running it back against another team's opposing receiver. It's a little bit different in a single game Showdown Slate as opposed to a full tournament, but you need to find correlation. Whether that's running back plus wide receiver plus quarterback on the other team, it doesn't matter to me. We need to get our correlation. If you think Christian McCaffrey's going to be the best player on the slate, which he probably will be, do you put him in your captain spot? Do you put him in your flex? Because you lose a lot of value salary-wise putting him in at your captain, but you get more raw total pointage. You lose a lot in salary having McCaffrey in your captain spot, but you gain the advantage of he's probably going to be the highest point scorer on the slate, and you get 1.5 times those points. So you really have to weigh the pros and cons of that. Another thing that I love to do on these type of slates, look for people that had bad games 3-4 days ago, because it's going to be Sunday through a Thursday. People are really subjected to recency bias. It's people like Mike Evans, for example. Mike Evans on Sunday, laid an egg, 5 targets, only 2 catches and 28 yards. I'm not saying put him in your lineups because he's going to go off, but he's going to be lower owned on this slate compared to if he had just gone off. So that's a good way to get different. Take a stud off a bad week. Obviously, they didn't price him down at all, but if you look at compared to what Devontae Adams was priced on last Thursday's slate, being the best wide receiver on the slate, even in a way tougher matchup, you can see that you get some kind of discount to go to Mike Evans. Diving into the slate itself, we will start with Christian McCaffrey, the number 1 player in this game. He is just an absolute monster. 19 attempts on the ground, 11 targets, 10 catches. That's 29 touches. I'm 99.9% positive that led the league in week 1. I know Saquon didn't get there. I know Zeke didn't get there. I know Gurley didn't get there. And if those three, most likely nobody else did either. The only one that I'm not 100% positive on is David Johnson. Let me know in the comments below if McCaffrey did not have the highest touch total in the league in week 1. But I'm pretty sure he did. 128 yards on the ground, 81 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns, 45.9 fantasy points, guys. And that was a much harder matchup than what he has right now in this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense. It sucks in a showdown slate because you kind of need to have McCaffrey in your slate. Obviously, you can win without him. It's actually ideal if you don't have him in your lineup and he doesn't go off, because then you're so different from the field and you have a much better chance of winning it by yourself. But the smart thing for me, what I'm seeing, is to have McCaffrey in your lineup. I'm not sure if he's going to be in my captain slot, but he's 100% in play there. And I think that you can get different if you want to, but it's tough to get cute. McCaffrey's the best player on the slate, so do with that what you will. Getting deeper into the quarterbacks, let's talk about Cam and Jameis. Both of them had pretty bad week 1s. Cam Newton, 7 points. Jameis Winston, 10 points. Both very less than ideal. Cam, 25 for 38. It's good to see 38 pass attempts, but the yardage was low, no touchdowns and interception. That's really what made the difference, is the no touchdowns, no rushing yards, 3 attempts minus 2 yards. We know that Cam came in with a shoulder injury. We don't know how much that's really going to affect him moving forward. I do think that DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel are in for a perfect bounce-back game in week 2. Post-hype sleepers. I like to see this passing game. I think that they're going to get right. But I don't know if I can put Cam Newton in the captain spot as well, but he is in play for sure. I don't like to go quarterback and captain because I'm pretty sure I saw the stat was 71% of Showdown Slate winners had either a running back or wide receiver in the captain spot. So I tried to go running back or wide receiver whenever I can. Obviously, a quarterback, a tight end, a defense can win you the week with them being your captain, but it is not the most likely. So I try to stay away from it as much as possible. Jameis Winston, almost as bad of a game. From a real-life NFL standpoint, he was much worse than Cam Newton. 10% lower completion percentage, lower passing yards, 3 interceptions. 2 of them were pick sixes. And he just didn't look good. The offensive line was a big issue. I think he was the 5th most rushed quarterback in the league. And what I mean, he had the highest percentage of his dropbacks. He was getting pressured. I do think that this offense still has very good upside in the Bruce Arians offense. Jameis Winston has great weapons still in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. We know that and O.J. Howard. We know that Mike Evans was dealing with some illnesses all weekend, but no excuse for how bad this offense looked. It's going to be tough if they don't utilize a little bit more play action, have a little bit better running game. I'm not saying that to establish the run. I'm not part of that philosophy. I'm just saying it's going to be tough when the offensive line is so poor for him to have quality showings. But I do love the pass catchers in this game. I love Godwin. I love DJ Moore. DJ Moore had 10 targets, guys. The thing is, it gets lost in the fact that he only had 13 points. But 7 catches for 76 yards on 10 targets is very encouraging because we know DJ Moore is one of the most athletic and explosive players at the position. So getting that much volume is going to lead to some big plays here and there. DJ Moore is actually my number 1 player for captain this week, which I would probably run a DJ Moore Cam Newton stack. It's tough to do because it's very expensive when you go in the captain spot with DJ Moore and then you go McCaffrey and Cam Newton. I think that's super expensive, and this slate doesn't really allow you to get cheap in a lot of places. I do love Dario Ogunbowale, one of my favorite spots to run it back and get cheap with. Another one of my favorite spots is Ian Thomas because Greg Olsen has not been practicing this week. He left the game. No, he didn't leave the game, but he's dealing with a sore back right now, and it's unlikely if he's going to play right now on a short week. He was out there for 94% of the snaps and was a target hog in this game. Yeah, Greg Olsen commanded all but 4 snaps. Let me just go to Olsen to see exactly what his usage looked like. I know it was solid. See, 9 targets, and he's questionable, but he said that he expects to play, which he is a tough player, and so that means he probably will. But as of right now, it's only Tuesday night, and I don't know that for sure. But I would love to go here if I can, if that is the late news that we can jump on. Curtis Samuel, I don't want to go that hard. If I could run it back with anybody, it 100% would be O.J. Howard. Obviously, I would like to get up to Mike Evans, but I can't. Leaving 1,800 on the table would be very, very beneficial. This is a build that I really do like. Obviously, the Ian Thomas thing affects stuff, so let's take out those two, right? And say that's not a thing. Is there anything down here that we can run it back with? I don't want to go another running back from Tampa Bay. Rashad Perriman is an option. He had 5 targets. That's actually not bad. Muster much out of the number 3 role. The whole team struggled overall. But yeah, like that's actually a great dart throw because I think that he's going to be very low owned, right? And at 7,600, I can still get my O.J. Howard and have 1,000 left on the table. This is just an example build, guys. I just wanted to really go over a few of the things that stuck out to me, why I like DJ Moore and my captain this week, and how to build my lineup overall, like my thought process going into these showdown slates. If you've made it this far in the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We're busting out a bunch of content for you guys. We might go live, do a live stream right before this slate tomorrow. If you guys do want to see that, do me a favor, and if this video gets a measly 10 likes, I will go live Thursday, 7 o'clock for an hour right before the game. We can talk our final picks. We can talk about different slots at captain. We can talk about different picks, who we want. So if you want to see that, please get this video to 10 likes, and I will see you in the next one.